Welcome back, traders. Second portion of our show seems to be dominated a little bit here by Warren Buffett speaking. Had some favorable comments about IBM.
Yeah, Joe, we talked about this on the Big Ten show. IBM here trading up 189.36, so trading up $2. Obviously, getting the pop from Warren Buffett. He's disclosed that he's bought another 10.5 billion shares. I'm looking at this chart. 188 could still come to play. There is some size there. I wonder, if it actually starts to drift down and opens, near that. But I don't, it's highly unlikely because it's trading up at 189.36 right now. This thing opens, anywhere in the 188s is probably a buy, but hard to say. 190.53 looks like still your major resistance on this, though, just because that's the old 52-week high. What do you think, Joel?
Well, just to throw some caution out there to people who are thinking about buying this stock, I would like all our listeners to pull up a daily chart of Bank America. I'll give you guys a second to do that. And when you're looking on your daily chart, look at the activity in the stock on August 25th, okay? And that's when Warren disclosed his position and that he was accumulating stock, or he took a position in Bank America.
Preferred stock.
Preferred stock, right? And on that news, I remember it did hitting 880 in the pre-market. It also hit that in the regular session as well. It subsequently sold off to under $6, actually as low as $5.13. So, for those of you that want to, hop on the Warren train, with this stock trading $1 away from the all-time high, I would just wait a little bit to short it. And I don't think it's going straight to the moon.
You like those fade the Warren plays, do you,
yes,
Joel?
That's what. Did you read about that in your technical analysis books?
Fade Warren Buffett. No, I never read about that one, but I think you'd be one of the only people to probably say that. But I agree, when you get, it's the same thing as Kramer. When you get, a major influence like this, it gets an initial pop, and often those initial pops will, not hold. Longer run, hard to say. Short run, sometimes those initial pops do not hold. In the case of Bank America, in all fairness to Warren Buffett, it is a financial, and it seems like all financials eventually go lower anyways, but just being fair to Warren Buffett. But we better move on or we won't be able to talk about any other stocks here, Joel. So,
okay.
Moving on here, we've got a couple stocks reporting earnings. J.C. Penney reported earnings there. The numbers didn't look that bad, but they are beating up the stock, trading 33.24 after closing at 33.92. I was looking at this 34 area is just huge on this stock. It did top out there even in the pre-market after it had a few trades go off after reported earnings there just after 8 o'clock at 34, and now it's started to drift down. Support's down kind of almost down to the 32 area when I look at this. Maybe Joel can find some numbers in between there, though.
Yeah, this stock has just been hovering above 33. I would call that the first support level. You did have a double bottom here at the 32.63 to 78 level. So if I was looking to bring some shorts in, that would be the area. Of course, getting back up to settlement, 33.92, call that 34 area resistance. But let's look for the range to be, the low 70s and the 32s, perhaps up to 34. If we really start to break down, I'd be looking for the November 3rd high, or November 3rd low of 31.68, but doesn't seem like it's quite going to get there. I guess the story with this stock, and it's been for quite a lot of time, is that executive coming over from Apple who's totally going to transform this company. So
I remember we talked about that. When was that, Joe, on the chart? Because that was like that 35 or whatever.
Yeah. And I did look at the chart on that. I think that was back. I
got it.
Where was that? Was that
you
back?
See that spike in volume on the mid-June? It was June. We spiked from $30 to $36 on that news. It was over 40 million shares traded that day, right in mid-June. If you look at your chart, you can see the spike on the chart, and obviously the stock that topped out and slowly kept drifting down, and went as low as $23. And now obviously we've come back into this area where there is definitely major resistance. So you could call that 36 the Apple executive high.
Okay, good. You're learning, Dennis. You're learning my strange ways of looking at the market. Thank you.
the fundamental technical approach. You put a little bit of both in there, so
yeah, we're
mix it
getting
all
a lot
together
of
and
good
it draws a
trades today.
clearer picture.
And
So-
it's officially, we'll put a spread on today. Short IBM and short JCPenney.
I'm not short IBM with you. The J.C. Penney, I don't mind that short, but IBM, that thing's just been too strong for me. So,
Okay.
no stock. But anyways, let's move on here. Lowe's also reporting earnings here as well. LOW. The stock initially traded down slightly on the report, is now trading higher, 23.40 after closing at 23.11. So Lowe's looking pretty good here for the longs. Home Depot actually getting a lift here as well. Home Depot is trading up 38.40 after closing at 38.06. So both of these home builder stocks look to be strong, Joel. What's your numbers on Lowe's and Home Depot?
Yeah, it just must be people repairing their old homes as opposed to home builders building new homes, at least in this neck of the woods. But 23.75 was Friday's high in the lows. We haven't taken that out. Wouldn't get too excited above that level. Got a double top here at 24.16 to 24.21. As long as we stay above the close 23.11, the stock looks like it's poised to go higher.
Just going over to Home Depot, I'll do some quick numbers on that one for you too. HD looks like we've got a little bit of, we were breaking out here over this 38 area, so I think you might see some support if we're to pull back even to settlement at 38.06. Getting up above this 38, it starts to open up here, Joel. I know we have major resistance obviously up at 39.38. That's a long ways away. It's 90 cents away from here. That's the 52-week high. But, Home Depot's been on a heck of a run. It does kind of look like a breakout over that 38, especially, if we can, trade higher here indeed this morning after we open at 9:30. What do you think on Home Depot for now?
Yeah, I like that 39.38 level too. That was the high back in February, as you stated. I mean, these kind of stocks, I mean, they're heavy volume, they're thick, they're big institutional holdings, and I don't know. I mean, when's the last time you seen Home Depot or, Lowe's up, $1.50, $2 on the day? I mean, it just seems that people might be, selling into this favorable news.
Well, that's exactly it. You don't usually see those stocks have that kind of a move. So, when we're staying at 39, 38 number, it's more for you swing traders. The next couple of days, if the stock did drift higher, that's where your major resistance. I highly doubt that is going to go. If it went up $1.30, I'd probably be a seller up there. But anyways, moving on here, Barron's plays. We got Corning Incorporated, GLW, getting a positive article there in Barron's. They're saying that the stock could move up as much as 20% from current levels. So GLW is trading 15.64 right now after closing at 15.11, getting a good lift on that Barron's news. Coming into a little bit of resistance here, Joe. A couple tops here in the high 15s. What do you think on GLW?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we stay above 15.28, I think this stock is good to go on the upside. Looks like we busted through that, that 15.50 level, so I'd even bump that up is stay long above the 15.50. Below that, look for a breakdown. Above that, 16.50 was your 16.15 was your high back in August, so that should be some other resistance. But over, above that 16.15, over the next couple of days, things start to open up.
Here's an interesting one for you. Carl Icahn lowering his stake in Clorox. CLX, this old, I'll take the stock over at $80. Didn't seem to work for him that well, trying to get the stock to pop up and, hoping somebody else was going to come in so he could sell all of his stock higher. So he's lowered his stake from 8.17% down to 6.89%. So it looks like he's slowly selling some Clorox here. It's got the stock CLX trading down 65.27 right now after closing at 65.63. There is major support here at 64. This stock is ridiculous down at 64. If you go and look back here at the chart, if you look August, we bottomed out there, in the 64, a little under, in the high 63s. September, we actually bottomed at 64. October, we cut through a little bit. But call that whole area, even in November, we bottomed out here a couple of times. Call that whole area support at 64. If it gets back down there, I'm probably a buyer off of that level just because it's held 5 or 6 times, Joel.
I'd have to agree with you on that. Below that 64 level, we would be looking at the October low of 63.50. It looks like Carl's trying to get out around 66, Dennis. Just looking at the charts here over the last 4 or 5 days, I think he's trying to wiggle out at that area. So let's call the range over the next couple days 64 to 66 in that stock.
Caterpillar getting upgraded at our friends Goldman Sachs. So obviously there's nobody with more info. When Goldman upgrades a stock, it seems like everybody listens in the stock, and they've been good lately too with their calls. Remember that call? What was the stock we were talking about that didn't
Cisco?
even? Yeah, Cisco. They were upgrading that rate down and back. I think it was like at $14. You know,
Yep.
The stock's at 19 now. So great call on Goldman. We'll give Goldman props for that Cisco call. They're upgrading CAT, so the market's listening. 97.40 after closing at 96.13. Deere getting a sympathetic move, trading up a little bit as well. But what do you think about CAT, Joel?
Well, it would have been nice to play this thing going through the $96 level. You had a bunch of tops there, 96.20 on Friday, so perhaps closing right near the high too. So perhaps they had some MOC buy orders for this upgrade. Looking at 97.95, that was a high back on October 28th. That should be pretty good resistance. The only thing that makes me a little leery here about buying the stock at this level is on October 4th we were here at 67.54, and now we're almost 30 points above that. So if I was going to go with the Goldman call and I was going to buy this stock long term, I perhaps would wait for a pullback.
Last one we'll talk about here, Boeing BA. They're signed a nice $18 billion contract, so the stock is getting a decent pop, 68.85 after closing at 66.92. $70 is huge on this. It's still $1 away. What do you think? You got some numbers a little bit closer than that, Joel?
Yeah, well, this 68.76 seems to be coming into play here. I don't know if that's when the Dreamliner came out or whatever. October 27th, we hit 68.76. Currently trading above that in the pre-market. Just been hovering up here between, let's call it 68.75, and then we also popped up to 69.29. So I'd use that range there, 68.70, 69.29. We'll look for a breakout of those levels, but pretty lofty move here for Boeing in the pre-market. Doesn't look like there's a ton of a volume associated with it. So let's see if some sellers here to step in and take some profits from a stock that was trading 56.90 back on October 4th.
That's all I've really got for you today here, Joel. Is there anything else you wanted to close with?
No, I just want to welcome back Becky Quick to CNBC. It looks like either she still has her Halloween costume on or her kid's keeping her up late at night.
Uh-oh, she looks tired, does she?
Yeah.
Well, that happens when you have kids there, Joel.
Okay. All right, that's our show for the day, folks, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.